and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. Today's video is sponsored by our Amazon affiliate link, which you'll see in the comments section below. Today I'm going to talk to you about Arrowhead Plant, one of my favorite plants, part of my starting up monthly series now on focusing on certain plants and that I really like and why. So the Arrowhead plant is a lovely plant. It's the botanical name is Syngonium podophyllum. It can be a vining plant, as you can see here. This is another one. I have one here, and then we have one over here, and you can see the vine, how it vines nicely. It is has arrowhead-shaped leaves, as you'll see, really pretty, and they are often variegated. Like this one isn't as much, but this one over here, this little guy here, is a nice variegated with a really pretty pink. It's a reddish pink color, a blush to it that's just really gorgeous. And the bigger the leaves get, the more pronounced that the red in the leaves will be. You can see that. So up close. There are also some varieties that do have they will have a more limey green, so there'll be the leaves are more limey green, and then there's darker green veins and vice versa. So you can find quite a bit in the color range with this really pretty plant. It is native to Latin America, and like its relative, the climbing philodendron, it will climb up in its native habitat up into the jungle canopy for many feet. So indoors, it tends to grow it will tend to grow up more upright like this plant when it's young, and then what'll happen after a time is it will start to droop, basically, and vine. So as it matures, it will tend to be more vining than when it's a young plant. So you can consider that when you're using it in your home. So to have luck growing this plant, okay, lighting. So it requires medium light. It can even do okay in darker conditions. However, if you see that it's not growing really very much and the leaves are very dark, that's an indication that it's not getting enough light. So you want to go ahead and make sure that it gets a little more light. However, as I mentioned, this plant is not as likely to, it requires not too much light, because these leaves will burn very easily. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and make sure that you don't have the plant too near the window, because as you get closer to the window, the more likely you will that it can get sunburn in the hot months, and it will also get frost burn from cold windows in the cooler months. And as I mentioned, it is a native vine. So you have to be careful of that. So, and you will see that it has very thin leaves. So that being said, you need to be careful about the not letting it get too dry. So for watering purposes, keep in mind that you want to keep the soil moist on the moisture side, but not soggy. Usually if the first ½ inch to an inch, depending on the size of the pot, has dried out, it's time to water the arrowhead vine. This plant, though it is thin-leaved and though it is tropical, the great news, and this is one of the reasons I love it, is even if you forget to water it, it generally will come back. Not if it's almost dead, but if it's a little droughted, it will come back nicely, and you won't really lose too much foliage like you would with the maidenhair fern. So it is a pretty easy plant to grow. It requires some fertilizing. It doesn't require a ton of fertilizing. This is my green gourmet houseplant food that I use on my houseplants, as well as some other products as well, depending, because I'm always trying new things. I will put a link for this at the bottom too. And I only have to water, to fertilize my Arrowhead plants, I would say about every sometimes I go as long as 3 months. That's how great these plants are. One of the things about to consider when you find out that a plant is a vining plant, especially the vining plants, and that it grows very quickly and it grows up into the canopy of the jungle, is that those are plants that are used to growing with very little nutrients. So keep that in mind. If you find that a plant is a fast grower in its native habitat, it's going to be one of those plants that you may not have to worry about as much fertilizing. However, it does need fertilizer. This guy was fertilized about a month ago, looking really good. Nice, shiny, healthy leaves. As far as humidity, it doesn't hurt to give the Arrowhead vine a little extra humidity. I do have videos on how to do that, especially if you live in a very dry climate, such as the Pacific Southwest. And when it's in the winter months, when there's the heaters on a lot, if you're in a really cold climate. So it wouldn't hurt to do a humidity tray. I'll leave a link down there for that video so you can see that. However, these plants still do pretty good even if you don't do that, which is another reason why I love these plants. If you do start to get some tip browning, that could be because conditions are too dry. It could also be because you have things like a heavy, your water's heavy on minerals and especially fluoride. So have another video on that. And so that's another consideration if you do start to see the tip burn thing going on. But this guy is nice and healthy, as you see, very happy, pretty easy to keep happy. One pest in particular I have had a problem with on Arrowhead vine is the mealy bug. I have another video on that one too. And the mealy bug's a little white cottony looking bug that will actually suck plant juices and can suck the life out of a plant if there's too many. The Arrowhead vine is not one of its favorites, but if it doesn't have anything else to eat, say it's already eaten one of your other plants, then it will move on to the Arrowhead. So be careful, be on the lookout for that too. As far as I did mention lighting, so medium lighting, what you would want is a few feet away from a southern or an eastern window. You could even and then you could be close to a northern window, but just be careful that, like I said, that of the cold window in the winter months, that these delicate leaves don't hit it. You'll know you had got the frost burn when there'll be a black or brown spot on the leaf where it was up against the window. Easy to remedy. You can take off that leaf, but obviously you don't want all your leaves up against the window because you don't want to be taking off half the plant. Because it is a vining plant, you do want to pinch regularly. If you want it to grow upright, you want to continue to pinch off as it grows. Some, but it really will just vine eventually. You can also let it climb. So if you want to use something like a trellis, something like that, you can, it's not going to attach itself, but you can help attach it with green tie tape or something along those lines, or wind it through a trellis and it will grow up and make a really pretty decorative focal point as a houseplant in your home as well. So that is it for growing Arrowhead vine successfully indoors. Like I said, one of my favorites. I've had some that it is a very long-lived plant too. I've had some that are, this plant here is at least 15 years old. This one over here, and this one is a baby that I've had for only a few months, but it's a plant that you can count on to be around for a long time. So thank you for watching this video. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.